What's something that's normal, but still weirds you out? In general, I'm always amazed how my mind controls the movements of my body. Going down the stairs very fast, cut something fast, driving a car, so many things, where you don't think about it, but your body performs anyway. And if you would overthink too much, you would probably fail the movements. Commuting to work on dark winter mornings. It's just a bunch of people crammed in a train. It's pitch black outside. People look tired and sometimes miserable. Some of them are coughing. Yet it's not like we work on a farm and really need to get to work that early. Most of us just get off the train and walk into offices and do various tasks that we might as well have done a few hours later. Poop. I sound like a immature kid, but every time I go into the restroom it weirds me out that we shit out brown smelly clumps of digested food out our asses. The smell and the shit stained toilet paper. IDK how anyone would find it casual, but I guess it's a matter of just accepting that that's our body and it's fucking disgusting sometimes. Our sleep cycle being governed by sunlight. The giant ball of rock has rotated sufficiently that the radioactive emissions from the giant ball of fire are no longer reaching us, so my brain has decided it is time to start slowly shut down until I pass out. The fact that everyone, not just me, has had sex. Like, my boss, all my coworkers, the nice couple next door, the cashier at the grocery store, all the servers at the restaurant I had lunch at, the bus driver, the old lady walking down the street, all the actors and actresses in the shows and movies I watch, all the news anchors, the politicians, everyone is getting it on all the time in every way. Even freaky ways. Just fucking. It's just a weird thought. For me, it's when I start thinking, when I'm driving, that literally every single person I see has their own world. You don't really think about it much, because you are also in your own little bubble. They have their own things to do, people they have or don't have, they could be doing awful shit, but you just don't know. They could have been your future best friend, but right now you're just two cars of many passing along in the world, stuck in your own reality. Living. How crazy everything is. I mean, we are one living thing that is composed by lots of living things. And then, people have sex, and then have people growing inside them. I don't even know how to explain the mayo, everything is weird. Eating meat. I'm definitely no vegan or vegetarian, but sometimes I'll just be eating some chicken or something, pause and think, I'm legit eating a corpse, lol. I think it only weirds me out when I think about it, since normally it's not even a thought. I'm a total carnivore. However, my husband was a vegetarian for a solid year. During that time, we didn't cook meat in our apartment out of respect for his beliefs. So to eat meat, we would go out to eat. Sometimes while we were eating out he would crave the meat that I was eating, and I would describe what it was that I was eating for him in excruciating detail. I would invariably lose my appetite. How small actions can change your whole life. About 11 years ago I went to my nana's for a brew. Just so happens my cousin did also. At the same time, we weren't particularly close, but had similar interests. We got to talking about her hair extensions, brightly colored synthetic dreads, and I told her I had some she could have. We swapped numbers. A couple of weeks later my ex had moved out, and I threw a good riddance party. I invited her. We started hanging out regularly, and one afternoon she asked if she could bring a friend. He's now my husband. If either of us had gone at a slightly different time of day, if she hadn't had her hair like that, if I didn't used to wear the same thing, if we didn't swap numbers, if I didn't send that invite, I wouldn't have met him, our children wouldn't exist, I'd have a whole different life with someone else. That's just the one I can pinpoint, but like all of our actions do this mad path to the present. It's an everyday thing, but it blows my fucking mind. That other people can buy a larger number of items, place them in their cart, and actually know or have a good estimate how much it's all going to cost. I have dyscalculia, and when I was a kid I had such a hard time with math, and was sure when I grew up I wouldn't know how to do such things, and would not be able to live on my own. Also they don't include the taxes with the prices for some stupid reason. I always have to make sure I have at least an extra $10 to make sure it covers everything I buy, and carefully plan ahead on what to get. Time. Someone made up time in the yearly calendar. Different cultures and religions have different calendars. The existence of leap years. Who was the one who decided they could govern time, set times, give a 30-day time period a name like April, time? The more time you spend thinking about it, the more crazier it is to think about, yet our whole lives are governed by this very concept. As a guy, watching how everyone wants to get all up into a pregnant woman's business, I recently observed this up close with a coworker and all the crap she had to put up with. Even when she politely made clear that she considered her pregnancy a personal matter, people would still make a point to comment about how big she was getting, unwanted touching, asking what hospital she'd be going to, and providing unsolicited stories about their own pregnancies and births. She was good enough to handle these things on her own, but there were some days where I just wanted to turn around and ask that day's offender to fuck off, except I would look like the crazy one. Pupils in our eyes are holes. They're black because the inside of our eyeballs is hollow and dark. Which means that whenever you look at someone in the eyes, you're staring into the dark void inside two hollow spheres. And they can stare you back. I had this realization a few months ago and now I just can't unthink that. Earrings. Any kind of piercing is disturbing to me, but earrings are so normalized, so much with women that little girls get automatically their ears pierced. It's literally unnecessary hole in your body. It doesn't matter how pretty the earring looks, it penetrates your body and you will never get rid of the hole it creates. Maybe the wording may sound strange, but I don't like permanent body modifications, but people are somehow always okay with earrings, while getting angry over other kinds of piercings, while it's all the same to me. I feel similarly about a lot of gender roles / expectations as a whole. I used to date a sorta tomboyish girl and loads of people would complain about me bantering with her like a friend / equal, which she liked, and getting her boyish gifts and such, also liked, but she's a Jill. Like I know men and women do have some biological differences, but it's crazy how it's like 20th. Dolls not dirt bikes. Skirts not suits. Be all delicate and polite like a good little princess now, dear's eye. You can have as much fun as you want, but only if you never show any weakness. Be a good little protector / provider now, lad. I'm being completely honest here. Someone with more than 1 or 2 biological children. This is the 21st century. Once someone has 3 or more children, it starts to be weird. To expand upon this, I totally understand not wanting any children. Wanting to remain childless makes perfect sense to me. 1 or 2 kids, I get. After 3 kids, however, I start to wonder if something's not quite right. People asking too many questions or just personal questions. For example, if I can go to a friend's sleepover, why can't you? What are you doing? Or if I'm talking about plans with family, how's that again? And where? Another example, my cousin got a girlfriend and everyone was asking when are you going to propose? He proposed on their 2-year anniversary, and then immediately people asked when will you two get married? When they married, guess what? When are you two going to have a baby? Even though they weren't directed at me, it still annoyed me, because that's all that was brought up in most conversations and everyone could see they were pretty uncomfortable. In my opinion, it's like peer pressure to ask too many questions in a row. To some people it's just making small talk, but do they really need to know all the details of everything that's going on if they aren't involved? When you see someone you know, and they tell you that you look good, it feels so weird at a larger get together when like 20 people say some generic compliment to that effect. You look great. I love your shoes. I love your hair. I don't dress up unless it's a wedding or funeral, and I cut my own hair. It would feel dishonest to pretend I'm super enthused about or focused on other people's looks, so I just say thanks. You too. Then I quickly switch topics. TL. Doctor, it weirds me out that so many people open conversation by announcing their approval of the other person's physical appearance. The mentality of 20-year-olds in college. It's normal to not want to commit to a relationship or know what you want to do with your life, but it still weirds me out. I was always a commitment type of guy since I was 18. Always wanted to finish college quickly and with good grades, never smoke or take drugs, etc. I just don't get it. Why not find someone you really love, take care of your health and career and be happy? Grown ass adults still calling their parents mommy and daddy. I grew out of it and always thought it was something younger children would say, although it was more mum and dad where I grew up. I don't know if it's just the accent or habits of where I spend my teenage years growing up, but hearing people from teens and even older adults always gave me the creeps.